Many sci-fi series have often had units that could be considered as the Grunts. You know, the typical cannon fodder that your main characters would destroy en masse. Star Wars has Stormtroopers, Halo has literally Grunts, and Armored Core has MTs that we always see. But to Gundam fans, and more specifically, Western Gundam fans like myself, one mobile suit stays in our minds as the ideal model of a grunt suit, the Leo. It all started when Oz and the Earth Alliance as a whole wanted to start having the colonies stay under their rule, and they determined that the ideal way to do this was through the use of a brand new weapon called a mobile suit. Bipedal mechs that may not be as effective as a tank or starfighter, but Oz wanted something that would spark fear and compliance within the colonies, and the mobile suit was the perfect tool. With this new concept in mind, 5 scientists were contracted to build the first ever mobile suit ever seen in the After Colony era. Dr. J, Professor G, Dr. S, Professor H, and Master O would all work together to create what is known as the OZ-06MS Tallgeese. This absolute monster of a machine was unlike anything seen before, and at the time had decent weaponry on top of a blazing fast speed due to the super verniers mounted on the back. There was just one tiny problem. The Tallgeese was too fast, and had so much acceleration that any normal pilot would die due to the G-forces. Zex Marquise, who would later on pilot the Tallgeese, stated that if you wanted to fly the machine, you couldn't fear death. Oz realized their mistake rather quick. Having a mobile suit that would kill your pilots wasn't exactly ideal for a mass production military, and so the decision was made to simplify and shorten the Tallgeese to a much more manageable size, resulting in what we now know as the OZ-06MS Leo. Standing 16.2 meters tall and weighing 7 metric tons empty, the Leo took on the role of Oz's primary mobile suit to heart, being designed from the ground up to handle almost any scenario that it could be put into. It was controlled by a single pilot, and the armor of the mobile suit was made up of a standard titanium alloy. However, while the Leo is often seen getting blown up in droves, we actually see that the Leo is capable of taking on threats that are well outside of its league, including going up against the Gundams one-on-one. This was especially apparent when the Leo was piloted by a named and important character, which automatically gives the Leo a +3 to its armor class. But overall, that's not the point of the Leo. The Leo's strength doesn't come from its armor or general characteristics, but its overall adaptability. Having several weapons at its disposal and several backpack choices, you have a Leo that can handle any scenario just with a few modifications. However, we will start with the Leo's most iconic look. Typically, the Leo is rocking a 105mm machine gun with a 100-round drum magazine, loaded up with standard sights and a secondary handle to aid in stability, along with a simplified round shield that houses 2 beam sabers on the underside to allow for close quarters combat. But while that is the standard look, that is far from the Leo's final armaments. Next up, it has 3 different types of beam rifles it can use, all with the same basic construction but with different purposes in mind. Firstly, the normal type has a long barrel, boxy E-pack, and a second handle, making it highly accurate and a very destructive beam rifle. The second was the shorty type, which features the same exact E-pack as the normal type, but a shorter barrel, decreasing accuracy but increasing rate of fire. The third was the colony type, but despite this, it was used by all Leos. With a top-mounted scope and a smaller E-pack, this rifle was made for inside of colonies. However, it can also be seen used by the Tragos and the Tallgeese. On top of all these weapons, the Leo also had a bazooka, which actually had a similar sensor to the Leo's primary sensor, which made it very accurate. A mega beam cannon was also available for the Leo to use, as seen once used by a Leo space type. Finally, for the weapons, we come to the one armament that the Tallgeese shares with the Leo, the Dober gun. However, the Tallgeese's Dober gun could fire both beams and solid projectiles. However, the Leo's was restricted to solid case ammunition. That didn't make it any less powerful though, as it was one of the only weapons known to damage Gundanium alloy. In fact, the Leo was actually able to dual wield Dober guns, as seen when Sally Poe used a Leo equipped with a Doppler gun on each shoulder. Overall, this armament really gave the Leo a lot of versatility, but much like a cheesy infomercial,
but I'm not done yet!
As the Leo also had several backpack options and equipment that it could use. This includes a separate set of shoulder armor, each shoulder being equipped with a beam gun that could be used in close quarters or for long range. These shoulder cannons were commonly only used by commanders. Next up was the space type backpack, which was exactly what it says on the tin. A long tube containing extra thrusters and verniers to give the Leo better performance while in space. This was combined with a brand new set of shoulder armor with an additional set of verniers. Space Leos were often also painted a deep purple color. Next up, the Leo had a flight pack. Flight type Leos were often painted a deep blue and had a pair of drop tanks on the wings for extra fuel, as well as extra thrusters on the thighs to assist in takeoffs. These units seemingly only existed to make the Ares mobile suit question its own existence, because outside of its combat range, the Leo flight type was just better in every area compared to the Ares. Lastly, the Leo had a parachute backpack, which was exactly what you expect. It was a mobile suit sized parachute that was used for airborne operations, so that way a Leo could roleplay like they're dropping into Normandy. As you can probably tell by now, the Leo was an extremely versatile platform. Seriously, outside of suits from Advance of Zeta like the Hazels, the Leo has to be one of the most wide-ranging mobile suits in terms of its armament and equipment that it can deploy at any given time. And we're still not done.
But wait! There's more!
Because the Leo was also the first mobile suit to test out the mobile doll system. Now, I know I mentioned it previously, but I didn't really go into detail about the mobile dolls, so here we go. First created by Colonel Tubarov of Oz, this system basically planted a remote AI into the mobile suit system, turning it from a mobile suit into what they call a mobile doll. This was originally meant to support mobile suits out in the field, but Tubarov wanted to take it a step further, wanting all mobile suits to be replaced by mobile dolls. To test this system, 3 Leos were converted to mobile dolls for testing purposes. However, the Leo's architecture and structure didn't allow the mobile doll system to be planted internally in the machine. Therefore, an external mobile doll system had to be connected to the Leos via a large cable connected to their backpacks. This wasn't much of a problem as these units were just meant for testing, so really this wasn't an issue. While this did prove that Tubarov had a point that the mobile dolls were effective, these Leos were only test units, and were quickly destroyed by Tres Cutronata in a Leo of his own to symbolize his open objection towards the mobile doll program. Overall, the Leo was a very versatile platform, as you can now probably tell, capable of taking on any task placed in front of it with very minimal modification. Whether it's colony rioters that are getting out of hand, general purpose combat, base defense, or close quarters duels, the Leo has you covered. It's one of the most adaptable suits ever created in the entirety of Gundam. This adaptability extended not only to the Leo's successor units, such as the Leo 4, but also mobile suits inspired off of the Leo, such as the Serpent. And overall, that's the Leo. As you can probably tell by the length of this video, I had quite a bit to say about this mobile suit, but honestly, it had a lot going for it. Besides, you guys seem to like the tourist videos, so who am I to complain about giving you more Gundam Wing? Before I log off though, I'd like to give a quick thank you to all of you for getting me over 150 subscribers. I honestly never imagined I'd get this far by just doing funny little videos about mobile suits and mechs. Honestly, I don't know what to say, so thanks guys, it means a lot. Anyway, that's all from me today. Like, comment, and do all that good stuff. And until next time, this is Nerd Trooper, signing off.